Welcome back. So today had some parts we picked up at the parts store. Things I've been ordering are finally starting to come in. Sad news is, here are the Outcast 8S arms everybody's been asking about. Only the left sides came in. They had 8 left sides come in and no right sides. But we have the left side, which seems to be the one breaking all the time. That is here, so we might have to do an RC Guy Garage type build and just put on half. But I am going to wait to see if the right side finally does show up. But parts are pretty hard to come by nowadays, and that's the way it goes. Another thing I got was this 8994. These are the new WideMaxx plastic axles. So, and this is just the half that's the outer that keeps breaking. So I did get 2 of these because what's on both these WideMaxx's are the original axles, and as you see, they keep busting the axles off. So we do have these. These were ordered before some other parts I got came in, but these took just as long as the other parts I ordered. Got a couple sets of these. I believe when you do the metal axle conversion, you might have to do these. I'm not sure. There was a notation for it. We weren't sure if you have to do this or it's an upgrade. It wasn't very clear in the Traxxas catalog. But we got the green caster blocks for the green Max. Part number is 8932G. So G meaning green. That's going to be for that girl over there. And that's for my daughter's car. She usually breaks those. She didn't break it this time. She broke, I believe, one of these rear hubs, I think is what she broke last time. It could have been a front, but I think it was a rear. This is 8952G. So there you go. If you want any of these parts, there are the part numbers. Once again, 8952G, and that is also for the green Max. As you know, we've been upgrading her Max slowly, giving it a refresh, because I already refreshed mine. God, my daughter really tagged this this body, but we have been refreshing mine. This is my basher body. I do have a clean orange body that has the orange roof skid and the orange back skid. This is my basher body. This is the original body that came with this Max, and I've been converting it over to orange because I believe this one was blue. I know it came with the orange shock, so this was the orange one, but I think the arms were black, the standard arms, and we went ahead and had green on it. And then we upgraded it to the orange when the orange finally came out, along with the little orange wheel spacers. But the other big ticket item, and these things are not cheap, guys. These are the WideMaxx metal axles from Traxxas. Now, these things are $100 a set. Part number is 8996X. Yeah. They look beefy. I believe this is going to stop our axle braking on these things and wheels flying off left and right. I do run the Arma backflips on both these rigs. The factory rims do crack when you run them for a little while and you run them as hard as we run them. The only real things that we break on this thing are the axles and bearing carriers, whether it's the front C-hub or the rear bearing carriers or the front bearing carriers. And I don't even know if we break a lot of front bearing carriers. We haven't had a lot of breakages with these as much as we've bashed them. So what we're going to do is we're going to get both these RCs fixed up so that we can get them back on the road, because we use these a lot. So if you want to see the upgrade on this, stay tuned for that. And yeah, let's get to wrenching. All right, let's try popping out this axle. I'm going to start with the broken wheel first. Get rid of some of this stuff. These two items going over there. Those are going down there. That's going with that one too. Let's see. Probably should have taken out the bottom one. I don't need the little one. So that's kind of what happens to the axle every time. Let's get the rest of it out of the wheel. And like I said, these are with back flips. So there's our wheel hex and our bearing. We need the bearing. And we'll need this hex. We don't need that pin, but I save them because they are the same as those pins. So when they break, I keep them in case I ever break these pins. And there's the rest of the axle, which is kind of good because we can set this up in a drill with a hex on it and spin it up to balance wheels. So now that we got the good part, let's get this body off of here. We have to get to the bolt for the pin. There we go. Hard to get to that pin on the inner to get that axle out of there. That's why I always just change the outer. And you can see how much it's literally twisting up these splines. It's crazy. Let's see how much longer these things are. So it looks like it's coming with new bearings as well. So looks like we're going to add a drive cup to one side. So it is threaded on one side. So it's got a big hole and a small hole. So the pin can only go in one way. And these pins look about the same. So let's see if I can get this drive cup on here. Oh. It fell off again. Sticks when I don't want it to stick. There we go. So we got the cup. God, that's a big cup. That's awfully long. Now let's see why they're changing these bearings. Oh, so it's getting rid of that middle bearing. So the bearing that's in it, it's going to a larger bearing. That's probably why it says when doing it, we need to go to these 17 millimeters to fit over that now, is what I'm thinking. Because these no longer go in there. So let me make sure that these are the right size. And what's funny is this looks like the size of the EXB, the one I was looking for the EXB. Yeah. You see the big hole? Yep, that's why you have to go to 17 millimeter. Which is now going to eliminate this washer. And we'll have to go to a 17 millimeter bolt. And it gives you new pins and grub screws. So the whole thing looks beefier. But I wonder if I can keep... No, I thought I might be able to keep that other bearing that's in there, but which would have made it a triple bearing, but nope, it doesn't touch anything. That bearing's in there. So this inner bearing doesn't meet that one. So both the bearings that come with it are no longer good. And now we're going to this thin bearing, kind of like what was on the X-Max. So I'm wondering if these bearings are going to fall apart. So that bearing's going to press into the back now, right on the edge, and then a new front bearing to give it the bigger center hole, so that we can now push this thing all the way through. And we're going to use a big pin and a set screw. So the big pin I see how they're doing it. This goes on first, so it's pretty much like the EXB now. Like that, and then there's got to be the set screw down the center, like all the other ones. And it does have blue Loctite on it. So we are now going to go down the center and hold that pin in. Huh. Lost the pin. That's crazy. Give that a good crank. There we go. Now it's a 17mm hex conversion. Always read the notations when you buy this stuff. Now, I think the longer one goes at the bottom. The other one I dropped it. The shorter one I think goes at top, but goes in the opposite way. Yep. There. There. And then it didn't come with hexes for that bolts, but I think I might have some orange ones. So I think I used them on the orange X-Max, but I think we got some green ones for Chloe's. One, two. I have to reorder some orange ones. There we go. I'm surprised that the kits for these red ones didn't come with the bolts for them. So now we're not going to use that spacer. We're going to go to a 17mm, which I had orange bolts, but I used them on my orange X-Max, I believe. So now this is going to bring it to a regular 17mm hex. Which works out good. So now I just got to repeat that 3 more times on this one. So I'm going to go ahead and bust off the wheels and get started on this. We'll be right back. take the hub. Which one did you take off of that side?
This one and this one. And that one, the broken one, was on the other side.
Okay, so now we're going to match this up with the good one. So, looks like it goes like this and like that. This will be the other side. Now we got to get one set of these bearings out and put them in there, because the new one takes new bearings, right? So we're going to put this bearing there, this bearing, and see how it's marked left? That's the left side. That goes in there. And we're going to grab one axle. The axle is going to go in here, all the way in. And then there's a pin that comes in the hub. We're going to try to use these hubs. These are ones I had. I don't know if these will work, but let me look at them. So that's going to work. Where's the other one? This is actually for this car. And this has our locks and our pins in it. So that's all we're going to use out of the red kit, is the locks and the pins. Put these pins up here so we don't knock them over. So now we need the pin, right? We need this. See the hole? We're going to line up the hole. Oh, the green's the wrong size. The green's not going to work. So we've got to use the red. And we'll use the green bolts, because this one doesn't come with bolts. So the red, see how the hole's bigger? So we're going to line that up, and then the pin goes in it, like that, so it's even on both sides, right? Then we're going to get this little bolt, a little grub screw, and this one, and this is going to go in the center to hold that pin. So what I do is make sure the pin is sideways so it doesn't fall out. Hold this, you put this on top of another tool. We're going to hold this, and then we're going to screw this all the way in until it's tight to hold that pin. Right? And don't strip it. So now we're going to check. See, the pin's flat, and then the pin's flat. It's actually a little in on that side, but we're okay. Alright? So there's that piece. And then we're going to do the same to this one. So you can do the same to that one for the other side.
Put it on this side.
Yeah.
And put this one on this side. And then you take an
axle the other way through the back.
like that.
Make sure it's all the way in on the back. Yeah. Don't drop the bearing. Now what do you need?
You need this screw.
You need that. Yeah, one of those.
And
No, it's got to go on first. No, you need the pin. So hold it together and line up the holes. And put the pin in it. Remember, it will fall through. No, leave it in. I don't know why you're taking it out. Hold it. Put it in, right? Put pressure on it. Hold the back one. Get it in. And then you gotta take a little grub screw. Now make sure you're not leaning over the table because you don't want to drop this on the floor. Right? And you're gonna screw it in the center. Making sure that pin doesn't slide out. Keep that pin sideways. Now you gotta hold that. Put it down. Make sure that that pin's not sliding out. You keep moving it. Now you're gonna hold this with the pliers. One on each side. Hold it. Squeeze it tight. Use this. Get it back in there and tighten it. Keep going. You gotta keep this tight too. Go. Okay. Now make sure the pin doesn't slide out. See if the pin slides out.
Even kind of out a little.
Yeah, but you can't do much with that. Yeah, see it slid to one side. So hopefully that'll be okay. And look, you didn't hold it tight, so you gouged it. So that's the other rear. So now we gotta change the C-hubs. So they give you new bolts. So what we're gonna do is take this top screw out and this bottom screw out. And then we want to replace this. So we can take this off, leave it there, slide this out of the axle. So take that screw out and that screw out so we can get this piece off. We're going to match it up, which that says right. So you want the one, this is the left side. And then we're going to put this left one in, right where that goes, with these new bolts.
So I use this?
I don't know, whatever fits in there. Slide that off now. What does that say? Does it say left or right?
Left.
Left. So we want the left. So here's the left. The big part goes down, the small part goes up. And which way does it go? It's going to go like that, right? So we want to slide it in this way. Right? Like that. And then it has different hardware, which is this. So it looks like it has pins. And the pins look to be 4 of the same size. And then the same screws and caps. So what you want to do is put the pin in and line it up where that bolt used to go. Same thing with the bottom. Right? Where's the pliers? So that's as far down as it's going to go. We're going to take one of these plastic caps. You see the big hole and the small hole? Big hole goes over that. The small hole goes in there. Right? And then we're going to screw it on. Just, yeah, do the same thing to the bottom with the cap and the screw.
So you put the big side.
it on?
Putting it on.
Okay. All right, so went ahead and got the repairs done. There's the pile of all the old axles and all the parts that we don't need. Yes, I still have a pile of parts I got to put on over there for all the other ones. And a pile of parts over there to finish up all the ones that I broke. But I did want to say a few things. Here are the axles installed. There's plenty of clearance now in here. And I'll probably show you guys on the green one, because so right in here, of course the camera's gonna block and shadow it, but right in here the plastic one rubs on these C-hubs, and it was causing the C-hubs to have excessive wear. So these C-hubs on my daughter's car would literally wear the axle. And as you see, there's the repaired hub that she broke. And I plastic welded this together. And she was running it like this for a while. Now it came with all new bearings. Ended up changing out those. But look at this axle. You see the rub mark right there? That literally rubs this C-hub, is one that ends up happening. As you see, this barely fits through. There's barely any space. So when you do those hard landings and it's rotating, this axle is hitting there, stopping and binding and putting pressure on these pins. Then what ends up happening is you end up with a breakage. And see, there's another rear. So we did ended up changing out, and only on my daughter's car you can see all the rubbing and the plastic coming off there. Literally shards of plastic from this rubbing all the way up into here, and this binds up and ends up breaking. I think I threw the broken pieces away already. Yeah, the broken one's already in the garbage. But it ends up snapping this off. And you end up with this piece broken. So, with that said, she ended up getting new C-hubs. And she actually ended up getting rear carrier bearings, because she broke one of her rears, and this would be the second time for the rear and 2 times on the C-hub in the year that she's been running hers. Now we did do the refresh and she did it herself. I showed her what to do, and that's why the video ended up cutting out. It ended up taking her a lot longer to learn how to get this done, but she's got it all together. Mine is all together. Now, as you see, I have aluminum steering links here, and that's because I broke one of them. She still has plastic. So we just replace them and upgrade as we need parts. And then that got a refresh, I want to say about 6 months ago, on a body. I kept the basher body, and hers is just starting to get a refresh. And these C-hubs are looking really nice. There's plenty of clearance with these metal axles in here from Traxxas. I do have, these are the plastic WideMaxx replacement outers. I do have 2 of them. I think I'm going to send these over to RC Guy Garage. He's talking about going up to these metals, which I do agree, after his live, it's something he should probably do. I did buy these, or had these, I didn't buy them. But they were the wrong size for her for her Max, but I bought the red ones because that's all Traxxas had in stock at the time, and we just put the green nuts on it. Now mine, as you see, I've got the red ones and I got the blue nuts on it. I really don't care. I wish I could have matched up color, but right now parts are limited and I'd rather have the RCs working since these have been down for 3 weeks now. So there we go, guys. Like, comment, subscribe. Tell me if you guys would do this upgrade. I will put a copy of the receipt in there with all the part numbers on what I paid through my local hobby shop. I didn't buy the parts online. I probably could have found them online, but I really been trying to support my local hobby shop. So there we go, guys. Like, comment, subscribe. My daughter has now fixed hers. I have now fixed mine after my other daughter broke it, and they're all back together. So we're going to take them out, we're going to rip them, and see if they stay together. Usually after repairs, I like to rip them, give them a good beating, make sure that we tightened up everything and nothing's going to come loose.